Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the May 15th, 2025 Lowell License Commission meeting. Secretary Pyer, has the meeting been posted?
It has.
Roll call.
Commission Chair Howe.
Here.
Commissioner Krieger.
Here.
Commissioner Donahue.
Here.
Commissioner Mercier.
Here.
Commissioner Tang. Here. 5 present, none absent. 0th is the acceptance of the May 1st, 2025 minutes.
Move approval.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Krieger, seconded by Commissioner Tang. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
Applications for public amusement licenses for Carnival by John Flynn of Fiesta Shows at South Common, 200 South Street, Thursday, May 22nd through Sunday, June 1st, 2025. Hours for all dates are 1 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Good evening, please state your name.
I'm John Flynn. I'm the Vice President of Dean and Flynn, doing business as Fiesta Shows out of Seabrook, New Hampshire.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Do we have any questions or comments from the board?
Yes.
Commissioner Krieger?
Captain Peasy, I think I'm really addressing this to, is how's this going to fit with the homeless issues that we're having on the South Common?
The area that we're going to set up, or I've been told that we're going to set up in the Common, we're going to completely fence it in, and we'll have one entrance in and out, which I think the police enjoyed because they can see who's coming and going, but it'll be totally fenced in where the amusement area is. In terms of the homeless, I know there are a lot of people that have been over there. Maybe they'll move over towards the river for that week. But yes, we're aware of the situation, Sean.
Okay, thank you.
And to add on to that, Commissioner, I mean, we can't prevent entry in and out of that area. There's I believe it's open to the public. They can walk in and out, and the homeless have rights to walk in and out of there as well. So as long as they're not disrupting, I'm assuming we're going to be hiring some police details, and they'll be in touch with the detail office. And I think we've always worked well with Fiesta Shows. We've never had any issues with them at all. So I think we have a good working relationship. So that'll be something that, in terms of an operational plan, we'll have kind of set forth before our officers get over there, and we'll address any issues as they come along.
Thank you. Move approval.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Donahue, seconded by Commissioner Mercier. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you for
Thank you very
good luck
much.
with the event.
Good luck.
Hopefully the rain will stop.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Application by Peter Crew for a special events permit for amplified outdoor public entertainment for recorded and live music and performances at the Greater Lowell Pride Festival to be held on Saturday, June 7th, 2025 from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Samples Pavilion, 160 Pawtucket Boulevard.
And do we want to take number 3 together?
Number 3 has been withdrawn.
Oh, understood. Please state your name.
Peter Crew, City of Lowell.
Do we have any questions or comments from the board?
Move approval.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Krieger, seconded by Commissioner Mercier. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Peter, thanks for coming in.
Thanks so much.
One sec, please. Application by Hina Bat for a special events permit for amplified outdoor public entertainment for announcements and live and recorded music and performances to be performed at the Viva Kite Flying Festival fundraiser, Sunday, June 15th, 2025, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Samples Pavilion, 160 Pawtucket Boulevard. Hina is joining us by Zoom.
Good evening, please state your name.
Hello,
Hi, please state your name.
Hina Bhatt.
And can you tell us briefly about your event?
Yes, so we are having a kite flying fundraiser at the same venue that we had last year for raising funds for children's education. And at the event, we will be selling kites so people can purchase those, and they will be flying kites around the event. We have some dance performances, we have some vocal performances, and in general, we will be playing around. We have a DJ.
Excellent, thank you. Do we have any questions or comments from this board?
Have you done this in the past?
We did this last year at same venue, and before that we have done it in Acton grounds, but Acton
That's what I thought.
We had to move to this venue.
Move approval.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Donahue, seconded by Commissioner Krieger. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Hina, good luck with your event.
Thank you, appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Application by Deborah Motu for a special events permit for amplified outdoor public entertainment for the Lowell Community Charter Public School Annual Block Party to be held on Friday, June 6, 2025, from 1 to 7 p.m. at 206 Jackson Street.
Good evening, please state your name.
Good evening. My name is Deborah Motu, I stole my boss title. Deputy Chief Operating Officer over at the Lowell Community Charter Public School.
All right, please tell us briefly about your event.
Event will take place Friday, June 6th, from 4 to 7. It is a annual block party, and it consists of a family day. Lots of dunk tank. Hopefully the principal will be in the dunk tank. And the bouncy house, face painting, and human tic-tac-toe, I believe.
Thank you. Questions or comments from this board? Motion to approve by Commissioner Krieger, seconded by Commissioner Tang. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Deborah, good luck with your event.
Thank you. Feel free to come by. Thank you.
Application by Gregory Curtis for 3 special one-day licenses to sell, dispense malt beverages and wines, and for 3 amplified outdoor public entertainment permits for the Greek Festival. Event to be held June 13th, 14th, and 15th, 2025, for the hours listed on the Hellenic American Academy grounds, 41 Broadway Street.
Good evening, Counselor. Please state your name.
Good evening, Greg Curtis, President of the Holy Trinity Greek Orthodox Church, 62 Lewis Street. We're having our annual festival that we've had for probably the last 10 years behind the Hellenic American Academy, and we have 3 days, Friday, I think it's 4 to 9, and then Saturday and Sunday ends at 6. Just beer and wine and a good time. Hopefully everybody can come down and enjoy a little bit of Greek food and music, and it's always been a good time.
Thank you. Do we have any questions or comments from the board for Attorney Curtis?
No question. Move approval.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Donahue, seconded by Commissioner Krieger. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you. Good luck with the event.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Application by Julius Tabe for a special one-day license to sell, dispense malt beverages and wines for a fundraising concert for Boston Business Elite Club on Saturday, June 21st, 2025, from 6 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. at the Hellenic Center, 41 Broadway Street. Julius is joining us on Zoom.
Good evening. Please state your name.
Yeah, good evening. Julius Tabe is my name. I'm the president of the Boston Business Elite Club. This is basically a club for Cameroonian men living in the Boston area, in Massachusetts in general. We are organizing a fundraising cultural event because we are starting a project to build a Cameroon community center in the Lower area.
Excellent. I looked at your website. It's impressive.
Thank you.
How many people are you expecting at this event?
About 300.
300 people. And how many bartenders do you have?
Right now we have one. We have 2 that will join us by that time. So 3 total.
3 total. And they have tip certification. They have experience in service of alcohol?
Yes.
Do we have any questions or comments from this board?
I'll move approval.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mercier, seconded by Commissioner Tang. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion carries. Julius, thanks for appearing. Good luck with your event.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Applications by Robert Doors for Era Market Songus Center for 2 special one-day licenses to sell, dispense malt beverages and wines only for the following events on UMass Lowell's campus. Ratification of an application for Thursday, May 15th, 2025, from 5 to 7 p.m. for an educator appreciation event for the Department of Advancement, Coburn Hall, 850 Broadway Street. and ratification of an application for Thursday, May 15th, 2025, 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. for the 50th Alumni Dinner at the Emerging Technologies and Innovation Center at UMass Lowell, 40 University Ave.
Good evening, please state your name.
Robert Doris.
How did the events go?
They're currently actually happening as we speak.
Oh,
Because it's UMass Lowell's graduation weekend. They have a bunch of those kind of events the day before graduation, and then we have graduation tomorrow and Saturday.
Understood. Questions or comments from the board?
Move approval.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Donahue, seconded by Commissioner Tang. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion carries. Thanks for coming in.
No problem. Have a good night, guys.
You too.
Applications by Steve Severson for 2 special one-day licenses to sell dispense wines only for the following events at Arts League of Lowell, 307 Market Street. Saturday, May 17th, 2025, from 3 to 5 p.m., homage reception. Saturday, May 24th, 2025, from 3 to 5 p.m., 1-in-1 Make One reception.
Good evening, please state your name.
Steve Severson.
Steve, thanks for coming in. Does anyone have any questions or comments for Steve?
Yeah, 1 and 1 makes 1 reminds me of the equation P equals NP. 1 and 1 makes 1?
Yeah, they're a couple that are both exhibiting their work. So 2 of them make 1 show.
Sounds good.
Excellent.
Move approval.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Donahue, seconded by Commissioner Mercier. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion carries. Steve, good luck with the events.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Application by Cesar Santa Cruz for a special one-day license to sell dispense malt beverages and wines for the Tour Inti Raymi Sun Festival on Saturday, June 14th, 2025, from 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. at the Masonic Center, 79 Dutton Street. Caesar's going to join us on Zoom.
Good evening, please state your name.
Good evening. My name is Edison Lima, General Manager of Raymi Entertainments. I'm here with Cesar Santa Cruz. He's the president of Raymi Entertainment. And our event is going to held on June 14th because of the celebration of the summer solstice. This is because of the Inti Raymi Fest. It's a very important date for the indigenous community in South America. So we want to celebrate a cultural event here in Massachusetts.
Excellent. How many people are you expecting?
We are expecting about 200, 250 persons.
And what number of bartenders do you have?
We have 3.
2, and they have experience in service of alcohol?
Yeah, they have. Actually, this is going to be our 4th event. We have done this 3 in the past years, but here in New York, Queens. This year, we would like to do it also in Massachusetts. We are doing this in New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Missouri.
Excellent, thank you. Does anyone on the board have any questions or comments?
I'll move approval.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Krieger, seconded by Commissioner Tang. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion carries. Good luck with your event. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Application by Mestiza Latin Kitchen Corp. Louisa Lopera, a corporate officer for common vittler license at 491 Dutton Street. I do not see Louisa here, and she's not on Zoom.
We'll circle back.
Yep. Communication from Gregory Hooden, Superintendent of Police, dated May 13th, 2025, regarding allegations of misconduct charged against Blue Shamrock Incorporated during compliance checks on March 1st and March 29th, 2025, and allegations of misconduct charged against the Middle Street Village Incorporated during a compliance check on March 1st, 2025.
Does anyone wish to discuss the content of this memorandum on the board? Commissioner Donahue?
My interest is, thank you, would like to address the city solicitor that perhaps we can look into tightening up regulations as to minors in any of the so-called restaurants in downtown area, especially if that not serving food, or if, you know, they become more nightclubs than they are restaurants. Maybe we could look into, so we won't have underage people in the bars, protection of both the city, the children, the underage, the minors, and the bars, protecting them from problems. So I'd like to see us being able to regulate somewhat the minors if you could look into that, please.
Thank you, Commissioner Donahue. So what I would recommend is that, in consultation with the Lowell Police Department, the Commission should move to refer to the Law Department to research what changes, if any, could be made to City Code of Ordinances, to the alcoholic beverages regulations, and to the current licensing scheme to evaluate what changes can be made.
I would make that in the form of a motion that we refer this investigation to the Law Department for a report.
Okay, the motion's on the floor. We'll have further discussion before the vote.
Yep. Sure.
Commissioner Krieger?
Yeah, one of the things that I'm still a little bit in the dark on is the consequences for people that pass bad IDs. I assume that they lose how much money they spent. I'd like to know what they're going for these days. And then their license, their bad ID is confiscated. Do they face any other punishment? Do they go before some sort of judicial proceedings? And what are the consequences? Does the university take notice?
Thank you, Commissioner. So independent of a rules violation of the License Commission, there are still criminal charges that the underage individuals are still going to face for being in possession of these fake IDs. So they are all still pending criminal action, though they have been summoned in the court. I don't know the status of their court dates yet. It probably hasn't made it to that point yet, but they will still face consequences. Also, we do tend to send their names. If we know they're UMass Lowell students, we do send their names over to the UMass Lowell Police Department on occasion, and they do take severe action. I know it's very severe action against the students that are found to be committing criminal acts in the city representing the university. So independent of what we bring forth here to this commission, we still pursue them criminally.
When they go to court, are they facing a misdemeanor or a felony charge?
They could face both, but we've never charged the felony because we're not out to harm anybody in terms of their future endeavors. But we do feel that there has to be some kind of consequence to the actions because, let's face it, they're putting the bars in jeopardy, they're putting themselves in jeopardy, they're putting the public in jeopardy. There's a reason that the drinking age is 21 in this state. The state felt that there's a maturity level that needs to be achieved before you can be served alcohol in a public establishment. And so when these underage people present themselves at bars and drink when they shouldn't be, they're putting not only, like I said, not only themselves at risk, but the bars and the general public as well. So there are consequences that they need to face, if that helps.
I'd like to say a few words about the memo. The superintendent talks about a technicality or a loophole that was identified in the legal memorandum from Solicitor Woods. And I have been on this board for 9 years, and this technicality or loophole has never been identified in that 9-year period. I spoke to Attorney Brian Occasion, who was on this board 7 years before I was, and he also did not know anything about this technicality or loophole. And I guess the way that this whole technicality or loophole, if you want to call it that, came to light was we had a hearing with the Blue Shamrock about 5 weeks ago, and there was a violation hearing where the two minors from Westford were there, and there was no alcohol in front of them. Now, apparently, that's a case of first impression before this board, and so I think if that hadn't been brought before us and the memo hadn't been done, this technicality wouldn't have been brought up. So we are a quasi-judicial board. We take facts from the public, we take facts as evidence, and we make decisions, and we're volunteers here. So we don't investigate, we don't make the laws. It's my understanding the city council makes the law. So as far as the evidence that has to be put before us, and I know that the superintendent, he has a comment of, we all know some of these places are clearly operating as bars and taking advantage of this loophole. Well, we're not here to reach a conclusion like that. We need evidence. So I know that the last hearing, we wanted evidence of, was there a chef? Was there someone cooking at the Blue Shamrock? Presenting a bag of chips is not a restaurant. So maybe there's an issue of we need that type of evidence if there's a case where the minor's in there with no alcohol in front of them. But getting back to the issue, we are a quasi-judicial board, so the referral to the law department should be, does the city council want to do anything about this?
Can I address that also?
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Commissioner. And we share all the statements you made. We've had numerous discussions over the last couple of weeks about them, and we share the same thoughts that you do. I mean, I think I've been sitting here as a representative of the police department for almost 4 years, and you know, this is the first time that we kind of had that light bulb go off and say, you're right, you know what, this isn't a violation to just walk into that bar. But there are concerns, just like I'm sure everybody here has, that the commingling of, say, 17 and 18-year-old high school students on a Friday night at 1 o'clock in the morning with some college kids is just not healthy. And it's a recipe for something bad to happen. That being said, I think that that statement that you made, that we all know of certain bars, I think that is the eyeball test that we're all talking about, right? I think it's safe to say that pretty much everybody in this room has been to some bars and restaurants downtown at 1 o'clock in the morning on a Friday night, and it's clearly not operating as a restaurant, and that's fine. It's just that we need to kind of, at least hopefully maybe work with the city solicitor to try to address this before word, and I don't mean word gets out, but now that this has been brought out in a public forum, the last thing we want is that, an after prom party at the bar downtown at 1 o'clock in the morning, right? With 17 or 18-year-olds coming home from a prom. Right. So I think that's the direction that the superintendent was talking about when he makes that statement is that, if it looks like a duck and walks like a duck, it's a duck. We know that, but it's not against the law, or there's no violations being committed in accordance with what the license is drawn out on. And I think that's the direction we were going with that statement.
Understood, but we're not here to jump to conclusions based on gossip, rumors, or beliefs.
Yep.
We have to have the evidence.
Yep.
And another thing, that the fact that it's all over the place, I don't know, the Lowell Sun basically ignores us throughout the year. They never once called me to ask me for my comments, and every week we see, minors can go into bars in Lowell. It's ridiculous.
Right.
So.
And like I said, the police department is on the same page as this commission and the city solicitor, and acknowledging all of that.
Yeah, thank you. Any other questions from, Commissioner Mercier?
I just got a quick question, actually. I think it's a great motion by Commissioner Donahue, but can we change the rules? Can we put something in place as a board?
So, Commissioner, the City Council will amend codes of ordinances, but the License Commission does have the authority to amend the current alcohol beverages regulation, as the Commission did in the previous year when the Law Department, in concert with the Lowell Police Department, proposed new additions. I think that, one of the issues that I saw in looking at the current licensing scheme is that the ABCC recognizes what's called a general on-premises alcohol license. And this is a license that ordinarily entities like bars, nightclubs would receive. Lowell is unique in that it does not recognize a general on-premises license. We have required for decades that entities that serve alcohol must also serve food. And, in the case of, the Shamrock, if you look at their alcohol license, it says all alcoholic beverages restaurant license. And so, obviously the commission is aware this has received some local press attention and the quote from my memo that there are no bars in Lowell. And what I meant by that quote is that we do not have a bar license in Lowell. We have restaurant alcohol licenses. And so when, Mr. Petrakis applied 30 years ago for his alcohol license and the commission granted it, they classified him legally as a restaurant. And so, just like the 99, if you are an underage patron, you enter the 99. They have the same type of alcohol license as the Blue Shamrock does, and that's the current rules. Now, in terms of what we can do to take steps to address that, I think that the best step would be to make a referral to the law department. If there's interest in City Council in amending the Code of Ordinances, I'm quite certain that the City Solicitor, Corey Williams, will receive word from that in the very near future. But in terms of what steps can be made to the alcohol beverages regulations, I can take a look at that as well. Thank you very much, Commissioner Mercier.
Commissioner Krieger?
Yeah, I think that if we're taking a broad look, we need to take a really broad look. I went to high school eons ago in a galaxy far, far away. But for instance, in graduation, we had 5 high schools, I think. We all got taken down to the auditorium, and they had an all-night dance. That kept kids from going out and drinking on graduation day. So that was a creative way of moving people away from bad activities, and I think we need to be open to those kinds of activities also.
Thank you. Motion to refer to the Law Department by Commissioner Donahue, seconded by Commissioner Mercier. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
The next 3 hearings have been withdrawn by the Police Department. Next is the violation hearing regarding allegations of misconduct charged against the Middle Street Village Incorporated, doing business as the Village Smokehouse, 98 Middle Street, Alan Kaplan, License Manager, all alcoholic beverages restaurant licensee. Allegations of misconduct occurred March 29th, 2025, regarding failure to comply with all laws and regulations, including Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 34, H limits.
Good evening, counsel. Please state your name.
Travis Jacobs for the licensee. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Do you want to waive the reading?
Yes, we'll waive the reading.
The floor is yours.
Thank you. So I understand that the licensee is here today to respond to allegations of violating Mass General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 34, as well as Section 1.06 of the Lowell Liquor License Regulations. And I do want to just address a couple of quick points since we had such a nice, interesting legal conversation. I do want to continue that before I proceed with what my client has asked me to do tonight. Chapter 138, Section 34 requires an knowing and intentional furnishing or sale of a licensee under Section 12, 15, 19B, C, and D in order to be in violation of that statute. So in order to prove that a licensee has violated that statute, you have to show that they knowingly sold or intentionally sold alcoholic beverages to an underage person. And the fact that an underage patron presents an identification in order to enter the establishment, I think really undermines the argument that a licensee knowingly or intentionally sold alcoholic beverages in violation of that statute. I think it's an interesting, since we're talking about furnishing versus admitting people to an establishment and Lowell's unique licensing situation, I think that is also an interesting conversation to have here. But I do want to just skip a little forward because my client asked me to talk to the board about its history of running a pretty good establishment in this city. It has a very good reputation of running a tight ship. They have years of cooperation with the local police. And they contribute to the community. They're involved in community events, like, for example, the upcoming charity pub crawl on June 21st, the McNeil Charity Pub Crawl. And the commission should take that into consideration. It is a decades-long cat-and-mouse game that licensees have to literally play with patrons, underage patrons who try to enter their establishments and procure alcoholic beverages against the law. Now, years ago, cities and towns did not charge those patrons. I wrote a blog 5 years ago arguing that cities and towns should do that and that bar owners should start suing civilly patrons who cause them to lose their license or get hit with big fines and suspensions for fraud, because it is, in reality, fraud. They're gaining entry by fraudulently representing that they're legally authorized to procure what the licensee is selling. And it's a difficult, it is a difficult process. And these licensees, their business, their livelihood is on the line. Their incentive is to not, and I know the board may think this is strange, but most licensees who are operating a good establishment, their incentive is to not allow underage people in the bar. This particular licensee also has passed, I think it's 11 previous compliance checks, which is pretty impressive. And just from reading the police report, you can see that this licensee has security in place. They use scanners, which I understand not all of the establishments in Lowell do. And they have a policy for out-of-state IDs. They have a policy of requiring a second form of identification, whether it's a credit card or another identification. And the doorman will take a photo of both the out-of-state ID and the backup. And the police report does note that the doorman explained that the licensee has this policy and that the doorman had the phone and they looked through the photos and that Connecticut ID was not in there. None of those IDs were in there. And the doorman's position was those guys did not use those or present those to me to enter. Given all these circumstances, my client would like to ask the board to take all of that into consideration when they make their decision tonight.
Commissioner Donahue?
Counsel, are you at this point making an admission that there were, just for purposes of discussion, is there an admission to sufficient facts for a finding being presented and then a discussion of what would be a finding and disposition of that? And let me ask you further. If that was the case, what would you say would be appropriate penalty for the admission and a finding? And just throwing that open based on what you've talked, your presentation so far.
Yeah. Well, let me answer the second part first, because it's easier. I think that the commission should seriously approach violations of licensees for admission of underage patrons differently. Because in the past, what has happened is boards all over the state, they typically go straight to suspensions. And so you have a licensee who is going to lose business, lose money for something that someone else did, their fraud on their establishment. And it doesn't matter, how much security, scanners, checking they put in place. These fake IDs are so good these days.
I'm just going to interject that all 5 have been criminally charged.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
that's something that I had spoken of in past years that I thought was important, that they have some ramifications against them for coming there.
And I completely agree with that step. I think that's absolutely the appropriate step. It deters, the person who makes the decision to violate the law, not the person who's the victim of that decision, which is in effect the licensee. So what I was getting at is I think the board should take a different approach in violating licensees for these types of infractions. And frankly, and I don't necessarily suggest the board do that and do this in this case, but I think monetary fines in an escalating amount are more appropriate, because a minor fine initially shows the licensee that there's a consequence, but maybe it's not really their fault. They're doing everything they can. They have a history of running a good establishment and cooperating with the city. But if you have a licensee who's letting, who's before you 3, 4, 5 times in a 12, 18-month period, well, now you've got escalating fines.
Can I interrupt one more time?
Yes, sir.
Do you say that the License Commission has the authority to assess monetary fines?
I do believe the License Commission has the authority to assess monetary fines.
Solicitor Woods?
Thank you, Madam Chair. In reading the alcoholic beverages license, it is an authority that the commission has to assess monetary fines. And I believe this was an issue that might have come up in a prior alcohol compliance meeting. It is not something that I have seen this commission do in the past, in the times that I have been here. Ordinarily, what the commission typically does, particularly in first offenses like this for a specific violation, is either place the matter on file or issue a suspension for a set number of days, depending on what the commission views as appropriate. I will add one other thing, which is I did speak to Secretary Pyers concerning, the smokehouse's history concerning service of alcohol to underage patrons, and he was not able to find violations of that sort involving this establishment for the last 6 years. So, that I think is a relevant factor here. If I could also quibble about one slight argument that Mr. Jacobs made concerning at least the definition of knowing and intentional selling, which is the statute requires that the sale itself be knowing and intentional, but knowledge of age is not a requirement in order for there to be a violation. And in fact, because I just read this yesterday, there are model jury instructions on the district court website for people prosecuted for the furnishing provision. And this is in note 3 of the jury instructions, which is titled Knowledge of Age is Not Required. It says, generally, when age is a factor in an offense, the government is not required to prove that the offender knew the age of the person to whom age is relevant, whether the person be a victim or collaborator. And that is from a Massachusetts Appeals Court case, Commonwealth v. Multavo, 50, Mass Appeals Court 85. It's a 2000 decision. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Counsel?
The solicitor is actually correct. The statute does make that distinction or state that. However, the statute also makes a distinction between licensees who make a sale, licensees under Section 12, 15, and the 19 A, B, C, and D. It distinguishes sale from a licensee from furnishing or procuring by a non-licensee. And I think the solicitor is correct that knowledge of age is not required for knowing and intentional for someone who's a non-licensee furnishing or procuring, but it is required for someone who is a licensee. And then on the regulations, I've read the Lowell liquor license regulations many times, and I'm pretty confident that there are some regulations that do impose monetary fines in a graduated way.
I'd like to hear from one of the police officers. Is it Officer Perrin?
Good evening.
Thank you. Please state your name.
It's Danny Perrin.
Thank you for coming in. I know that you were the investigating officer. I just have a couple of questions. When you questioned the gentleman, Junior Fontanez, can you tell me what the conversation was with him?
Absolutely. So Mr. Fontanez was the security personnel that was checking IDs. He told us on that evening he was the only one that was doing that. He said that he was well-versed in fake Massachusetts license. He gave us examples of the hologram being flat when proper ones are elevated or raised. He also told us that it is the policy of the smokehouse for out-of-state licenses or identifications to photograph it with a secondary form of identification. He also showed myself and Investigator Temple the phone that was used by the smokehouse when asked to provide photographs or the photograph of the two Connecticut fake licenses that we had just seized from inside. He was unable to. He said he didn't take any photographs of those.
And did you, from counsel's statement, I'm concluding that he just didn't check the IDs, or that's my conclusion. I'm not sure. Did he say that he didn't check them or he didn't see them?
He didn't really give us an explanation as to why it was not on the phone. He didn't say, I checked them, I took a photograph, I didn't take the photograph, I didn't see those, they didn't provide me with a different form. Nothing of that nature to us.
All right. Thank you. Commissioner Krieger?
Were there any photographs of out-of-state licenses?
So when we asked to see those, he just said he didn't have those with them. He didn't show us any examples of any others.
Okay. Is there a possibility that these young ladies could have been let in a back door? Was there a back door or something like that? I mean, they didn't get teleported in there, right?
I'm sure that's a possibility as well. I couldn't speak on that, though.
Commissioner Donahue?
I was just going to ask, the front door setup, is it set up so that perhaps kids could slip by him?
No, they do a good job with the line. There's often a line to get in there. The security is right at the entrance to the door. They have usually the doorman that checks and a secondary security officer with them. So there's no way they would be able to push right through. He stands in the doorway, essentially.
I believe he said he was alone that night at the door.
No, he said he was the only one that was checking the actual IDs.
Okay. So there was other security.
Yes, there was multiple others there.
Okay, thank you.
Counsel mentioned there had been 11 previous compliance checks that they had passed. Have you been involved in any of those?
So since I've started with this unit with the Lowell Police, I've done 3 compliance checks at the smokehouse in the last few months.
And those have come out fine?
There was the first situation, there was just the big topic tonight of people with fake identifications without drinks. There was one occasion where an individual had a drink, but he provided his brother's ID is how he got in, but he was also underage.
Thank you. Any other questions for Officer Perrin? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Counsel, do you have any additional comments?
I just wanted to make sure that I was clear about what the doorman had said. What his position is because there were no photographs of those Connecticut IDs in his phone, they did not present them to him. His belief was that they presented something else that was legit or appeared legitimate, and then gave those up when they were asked to by the police.
That clarifies it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Donahue?
Just a question for the captain. What is the captain's idea of a disposition? Has the police formulated anything?
We don't necessarily get into punishment, and that's on both sides, right? On a criminal side, we just bring our cases forward to a judge and jury and let them establish. But I can say that I've been on this board prior, a lot longer than Officer or Detective Perrin, And I know the smokehouse has passed a lot of the recent compliance checks. They've actually done very well over the last couple of years. I don't know if 11 is the exact number, but I can tell you that we haven't brought them in front of you guys in a few years, and I know some of the compliance checks over the past few years, they've been in compliance.
Thank you. Is there a motion on the floor?
I'd like to make a motion. The idea of a rising fine appeals to me, but today my belief is that we should, and I move that we suspend the license for 3 days to be held in abeyance for 6 months.
Motion on the floor, is there a second? There's no second, motion fails for lack of a second. Is there another motion on the board, on the floor?
I have a question for the chairman, and maybe council can assist. There is something hanging out there. Isn't there a violation? Did it go up on an appeal? And
Thank you.
and that's, I don't know if that's been resolved.
Commissioner, I'm happy to address that. It is still currently pending on appeal before the ABCC, and so my advice would be to treat that as if no violation has occurred and should not consider it with respect to this case, and should treat this as though if it were a first-time offense, has not been before in a while.
As my recollection, though, not taking it into consideration, was that was a day held in abeyance after a finding? But it was,
yes, that is my recollection as well.
That was an appeal of that?
Correct.
Okay.
Commissioner Mercier?
And just for the sake of clarification, so the one that's on the day that's in abeyance, but it's under appeal, which we're not looking at, I guess I don't know, what would happen if the appeal was denied? Would that go into?
So my interpretation of what the ABCC, about what the effect of that would be, is that the suspension would not take place because at this point, it's currently pending on appeal. So this subsequent event would not be considered a event within the, time frame in which the period was held in abeyance, if that makes sense.
So that would, once a decision comes down with that would be a whole separate issue.
Then that would be another day that would be held in abeyance, and it would be effective on the day that the ABCC has affirmed the decision on appeal.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Donahue?
Counsel, maybe you could talk about money.
Well, just from my recollection of the ABCC, the Lowell liquor license regulations, as I recall, and I know these were written a long time ago, but they start off at like $200 or $300 and then go up from there. I actually think that that's reasonable if for a first-time offense,
So,
with the history.
if there was a motion made to that there be a finding as to both counts, and then assess something on each one, that's what you're talking about, possibly?
Yes, sir. Exactly.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Council, before
Commissioner Tam?
I address the motion, I just have some question. So it seems there's a lot of violation in the past, and seem to be no fine, no suspension. What step, I just want to know the owner here, what step have you taken in preventing the repetition of the violation again and again? For example, like maybe re-education, training of the manager that you assign to it, something like that. And I mean, probably look at your security staffing, what's going on, so that we cannot just blame on the minors,
Yeah.
So I think equally the bar owner have to be responsible for this as well. So
I mean, there must be, we have to find something here that hopefully it can deter some misconduct or,
And there was, my understanding is there's an ABCC investigator who did come in and helped actually do a little bit of extra training on identifying these new fake IDs. So that was since this incident happened, so.
I did one more thing.
Commissioner Mercier?
So the ABC, the training thing that took place after this event happened?
Correct.
Thank you.
Sorry, same night. Same night.
Oh,
Same night.
And
The ABCC investigator pulled Fontanez, and I'll let him explain to you.
Good evening, Tim Kelleher for the Smokehouse. The ABCC investigator, Joe DeChico, I've met multiple times as the ABCC, has also done compliance checks. And when he found the IDs, he brought me over and said, hey, Tim, here's how you tell your guys to tell this new batch of fake IDs. Previous to COVID, Inspector DeChico told us how to tell the old batch of fake mass IDs, which I actually showed Lieutenant Peasley at the time, was how to tell the old batch. The new batch is a little bit different, but he showed me how to do it. I've since showed the door guys, and we're going to do the best we can.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Counsel?
Sorry, if you had any other questions for me.
I'm all set, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to make a motion based on the evidence before us and based on the previous 11 passing of the compliance. I find that there is a violation of both General Law, Chapter 138, Section 34, service of alcohol to 5 minors, and also a violation of Section 1.06 of the local regulations. And I believe an appropriate punishment is for each violation, $200 per violation. That's my motion.
Second?
Any discussion on the motion?
So
Commissioner?
So that's 10 violations at $200 apiece.
No,
5 violations at $200 apiece.
2 violations at $200 apiece is
Oh.
$400.
All right, got it.
Any other discussion on the motion? Roll call?
Commissioner Howe,
Yes.
Commissioner Krieger,
Yes.
Commissioner Donahue,
Yes.
Commissioner Mercier,
Yes.
Commissioner Tang.
yes.
5 in favor, none opposed. Motion carries.
And you'll submit the appropriate paperwork
Yes,
to the ABCC, isn't that?
on your behalf.
That's how you want it done.
That's how it should be done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Counsel?
Oh,
You'll make arrangements with Mr. Pires for that? I'm assuming there's no appeal, maybe you should ask.
Can I make a motion to allow the licensee to participate in the pub crawl, the charity pub crawl on the 21st? Because technically, the way the regulations are written, any licensee who is subject to any violation is barred from participating in any pub crawl for 12 months, which is,
I'll make the motion.
thank you.
Motion to allow the smokehouse to participate in the upcoming pub crawl. What's the date?
June 21st.
Is that the McNeil
It is.
pub?
June 21st, 2025. Motion to allow them to participate, seconded by Commissioner Krieger. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Request for a hearing regarding an application by East End Social Club of Lowell Incorporated for a change of location of the all alcoholic beverages club licensee to 12 West 5th Street, Unit 102. It is requested that legal notice be published in the local newspaper and hearing to be held on June 12th, 2025 at 6 p.m.
Motion to schedule a public hearing on June 12th, 2025 by Commissioner Tang, seconded by Commissioner Mercier. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
Informational City Council motion response regarding the hawker peddler license. That was for your information,
Placed on file.
Thank you.
and that's it.
Motion to adjourn by Commissioner Krieger, seconded by Commissioner Donahue. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Good evening.